What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Fan's Voice. So today I want to talk about something I saw the other day. They're comparing two players who had amazing careers, both of them Hall of Fame players. So, of course, people are going to want to compare them, see who would have been better or who did better. And, it's what they're going to do. They're going to compare greatness with greatness, and then they're going to expect, players to do the same thing or, set that as the baseline for greatness. Yeah, I saw them comparing Rod Woodson and Deion Sanders, and somebody was saying that Deion Sanders would have had Rod Woodson beat in every category except tackles, and that got me thinking, like, let's find out because one of Rod Woodson played more games, so yeah, I went and did my homework and I went and figured it out. So I basically took a stat, divided it by the games played, or and when it comes to turnovers, interception yards, and we're going to go touchdowns per interception. I divided that by the interceptions. So we can figure out, the pace that Deion Sanders would have been on and the pace that Rod Woodson was on because Rod Woodson played more games than Deion Sanders. So, I essentially try to figure out, right around what it would have been because we know what he did, but we don't know what he would have done. So I took what we know and use that to figure out what he could have done. But let's get into that. Let me show you what I got going on here. So as you can see right here, 238 games for Rod Woodson, 188 for Deion Sanders. So the interceptions pretty almost pretty close, pretty close to the same thing. 0.298 per game for Woodson and 0.281. Not that big of a difference. And then interception yards per interception. So I took the amount of yards that they had, divided it by the interceptions. Rod Woodson fell just a little short of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders was very electric, as you know. He was a really good return man. And Rod Woodson was too, but Deion Sanders definitely. I feel like he did better in that than Rod. Interception yards was interception yards, sorry. Interception touchdowns. They're about on the same pace. I think if I remember correctly, I got it down here. Okay. Yeah, they're essentially on the same track. Deion Sanders was at like 1.69 or 68. 0.168, sorry, versus the 169. I just rounded up to 0.17. But yeah, they're pretty close to being on pace, on the same pace with the touchdowns on their interceptions. And then sacks, that's just a little fun stat to throw in there. Sacks isn't what defensive backs are supposed to be doing, but Rod Woodson did pretty good at that. Deion Sanders, I'd imagine, didn't really blitz, but, didn't need him to. Just have him cover a guy. Rod Woodson, he was pretty close to doubling the amount of tackles that Deion Sanders was on track for. And I do know Rod Woodson was playing safety at one point. He played both safety and corner. That could be a big reason why his tackles are so much greater. Forced fumbles, Rod Woodson takes the W for that one. And fumble recoveries, Rod Woodson takes the W for that one as well. Seeing that just, tells me that Rod Woodson was always around the ball. He was always in the right place. And it's really not to talk smack on Deion Sanders whatsoever. This is just to show the numbers, give you guys an idea so that you don't think that I'm just bullshitting you on this. But yeah, so then what I did was I took those 50 games and I multiplied it by the averages that he was on pace for, and per 50 games, so 50 times 0.28, and that was like 14 interceptions. So if he would have played the 50 more games, Sanders' stats would have been 67 interceptions, 1,682 interception yards, 11 touchdowns off of those interceptions. He would maybe only had like a half more sacks, so 1.5 sacks on his career. 622 tackles, 13 forced fumbles, and 18 fumble recoveries. He's a Hall of Fame guy anyways. But the numbers show that Rod Woodson would have had the better career. So there you have it. Rod Woodson takes the W. Go ahead, give me some suggestions on players that you want me to do next. I want to see what Sean Taylor's career would have looked like if he would have played a full career. So I'm going to take a look at what his numbers, what he was averaging, and figure out what kind of career he would have had. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk with y'all later.